My name's Iain Millar. I am the Marketing and Digital Publishing Manager for Quercus Books. I've been in publishing now for 7 years, I think, in a variety of roles, in sales, in marketing, and now in digital as well. So that's the background. I've been at Quercus for 3 and a bit years. Previous to my employment at Quercus, I worked at a little family-run independent publishers called Michael O'Mara Books, who are probably most famous for the Princess Diana books, which was a great grounding and enabled me to move to Quercus with some confidence. So I've been here 3.5 years. In that time, the company's grown dramatically, and it's been a great place to be and a good team to be part of. Well, Quercus is in the middle of really starting a digital list. We've only been doing ebooks for maybe 18 months or so at most, and it's a process of building up the amount of books that we do, the different types of books that we do, and in gaining customers and getting more of our ebooks out to as many retailers as we can. So that's the main focus of the work. Secondarily to that, the 3 of our books in particular have been very successful. Stieg Larsson's Millennium Trilogy, and so it's maximising the potential of those and the kind of digital opportunities that we get with those particular books, whilst at the same time not losing concentration and focus on our other authors as well. Well, I mean, the main revenue earner has not particularly been very innovative. I mean, the 3 books are pretty standard EPUB files, and they've gone out through actually not many customers, but have been met with great success. Elsewhere, I mean, we have gone down the enhanced ebook route a little bit, and we have gone down the app route a little bit. We have promotional iPhone applications that we use to market Stieg, and in particular actually the Stieg films, the 3 Swedish films. The film company have been very crucial in putting those together, and so really I think it's the kind of cross-media, cross-promotional side that's been something a bit different, and I don't think that's been done in the UK before. One other thing that we did that might be of interest was something called the Vodafone Free Friday. Vodafone, obviously one of the big phone networks, and they were keen to promote ebook reading on their devices. And so we worked with them to give The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo away for free to their customers. And Vodafone made a small contribution for every copy that was downloaded. And that followed a music example whereby they had their Vodafone Free Friday with popular bands and singers and what have you, and the customers loved that. They trialled it with books, leading with Dragon Tattoo, and it worked very well indeed, and I'm hoping that some of the stuff we can do with phone companies and with non-traditional book retailers can be advantageous. Well, you can ask, Grammy, but I think contractually we're not allowed to give an answer. I think if you look at the charts of the prominent retailers in the ebook market in the UK, you'll see that we feature very heavily in some and not in others. But I'll leave it to you to work out. In the UK, I think it's growing quickly, but I think we've got some serious making up to do. I get the impression that particularly in the States, and I was hearing this morning in China, it's quite a way ahead of where we are. So it's a growing market, one still with a lot of unfulfilled potential. We've got new bookstores, so for example the new Kindle UK store I think will make a big difference, and UK publishers have got an awful lot of work to do. I think whereas our American counterparts have generally digitised their entire lists, there's still a lot of books that are not available in the UK in ebook, and we need to get that sorted. In terms of innovation, I think there are 2 main strands. One is stretching the EPUB format to its maximum. So you're seeing some publishers who are able now to incorporate audio and visual elements into EPUB files in a way that they wouldn't have been able to 18 months, 2 years ago. And that's largely come from kind of academic and technical publishers who, again, are often ahead of trade publishers. And then the other thing, of course, is getting away from the EPUB format, where you're seeing all sorts of apps and book publishers straying quite far from their original remit and producing added content that helps market their books, whether it be games or widgets that are kind of viral, pass-onable bits and pieces that are going great guns. I think you'll see two strands developing in the UK market over the next sort of year. Some who are trying to stretch EPUB and some who are trying to stretch ebooks outside of the EPUB format completely. And I'm interested to see what, in particular, the bigger houses are doing on both fronts. One particularly brilliant piece of marketing, I think, the way that the makers of Madmen use Twitter, where you sign up to follow Betty Draper or Don or whoever, and you get tweets in the style of the character. That's fantastic. That's not something I think many UK publishers have found the time or resource to do. But done properly, it builds up a fan base, and it keeps you interested. You know, I look at Twitter how many times a day? 5, 6? And if every time I'm reminded of Mad Men and the fact that I haven't bought the latest series, that's a great thing. I think traditionally people in books have tended to try and speak to their audiences rather than speak with their audiences, and that interaction that you can get with characters from your favourite TV series is great. I think it's harder to do with novels. I think particularly literary novelists, I don't think you can start mucking around with their characters in that manner without their consent, input, and so on. But I think there's certainly projects that book publishers could undertake that use those sort of methods. I think quite often as digital people we get away from the written word. I think the majority of e-publishing will still just be good novels, good non-fiction, people reading as they always have done, good books, and that gets forgotten. I think that'll be the mainstay of digital publishing. But there'll be all sorts of exciting projects on the side. I think you'll get more author involvement, which actually the publisher has an important part to play in. I think you'll see new devices. I think for the next 2 years the kind of devices we have now will dominate, but I'm not entirely convinced they'll have the whole lion's share of the market. I think they're going to be fascinating. I think you'll see potentially audio accompanying text properly, which has not been done. I was shown an exhibition recently, the latest text-to-speech, and it's impressive. And I think that has some implications for the way we read. It might be that I listen to a chapter, then I read a chapter. I think that'll happen very quickly. I think reading will be less of a separate experience from using a computer, and the devices, whether they be iPads or similar, will merge, and the kind of experience we currently have on the internet we will have with books, and that'll be fascinating as well. For some authors, and we're already seeing this with the particularly savvy, usually the younger authors, what you'll see is an engagement with their readers, so they can find out who's bought their ebook, and they can contact them and say, what do you think? They can say, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, and that engagement, that conversation, I think will grow and grow and grow. A lot of the kind of blue sky thinkers think that conversation will be two-way, that authors will not only speak to readers in order to please readers. I think you'll see readers having more of an input into an author's work as well. There are many authors who that won't suit, but there are lots of authors as well that it will. And the other opportunity, I think, is in developing markets where I was reading today that in India there are 100 million English-speaking people already, and it's growing very quickly. And if we could get some of them to buy our novels and our non-fiction, our biographies and so on, I think that's a real opportunity. And it's one where academic and technical and medical publishers have got there. If you want to learn a computer language, you tend to buy books from an English-speaking publisher. But it's not something that we've done in fiction or non-fiction, and it's something we definitely could do. There's India, as I mentioned. There's China, where apparently they're already selling as many ebooks as they are print books. I was reading about the bamboo. I mean, that sounds like a really interesting opportunity. It's not something we've considered as much as we should have done. And I think whoever gets there first with these emerging markets, they'll do well out of it. I know the question that I've been asked a lot that I wish they hadn't asked, which is always about terms. The one question I wish that I'd been asked, I have to say with Stieg Larsson in particular, there's not been many missed opportunities. We've had the support of national newspapers, we've had the support of big phone networks. We've been able to advertise on TV and so on. There's not many missed opportunities there. I guess the one question that we all want the answer to is who's selling what, and I think we're some distance away from a UK book chart, and I think I've got the best-selling ebooks in the UK, but I think there's more than one person in this country that thinks that's true. I think there's competitors of mine who are sitting assuming the same thing, and only one of us can be right.